The Atlanta Falcons schedule release was yesterday. Alex, you and I talked about the first three games that were kind of rumored. They did turn out to be true. And I think the big storyline, at least for me, is those first really 5 weeks. It seems like, we talked about the NFL kind of being this storyteller league. They're pulling the strings back there, kind of like this is a puppet show. And it seems like they're making something very obvious here. They're like, you believe in Kirk Cousins? Well, why don't you prove it? Because he's going to have 5 games. And if you start off this season 1-5, 2-3 or whatever, that noise about Michael Penix, we all know it's going to grow. The whispers about Raheem Morris are going to start. Terry Fontenot might have his bags packed. What do you think about the start to the season, Mark?
Oh my God. You better win week 1. You better win week 1. Because if you do not, guess what? You are 0-3. And it is not. Look, I'm here for it. Okay. There's a part of me, you know me, because I love the drama and I love the interest. That's rooting for them to go 0-3.
I actually said the same thing yesterday.
I
said the same thing, and I'm a Falcons fan.
Because here's why. Because everything I've said, and people are still telling me to let it go, Zinno, let it go. Everything I said about why you don't create your own quarterback controversy will 100% come to fruition, because you'll be asking questions about Kirk's job. You'll be asking questions about when Michael Penix is coming in. You'll be asking Raheem Morris about, and all of it is fair because you created this situation. You absolutely created this situation. And I have to believe, I mean, again, I don't know when the actual people inside the building know the schedule. I know the schedule's been done for a while. They didn't just finish it yesterday at like 6 p.m. and go, hey, let's go to print. So the Falcons had to have known what their first 3 games were for a while. I mean, I can't wrap my head around this whole thing as a first-year head coach that you want this extra headache all season long. Because if they're 0-3 and Kirk Cousins has 4 interceptions in 3 games, right? Okay, what are the fans going to be screaming? We all know what they're going to be screaming.
Yeah, I'm going to be screaming it. I'm going to be screaming it because at the end of the day, how many playoff teams have started 0-3? And I know the schedule gets really favorable, but 0-3, I think 6 since 1979, and that's what you're staring at. And also think
this is it's not enough for them. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's not enough for them to just make the playoffs. They need to win this division. They're the best team in this division with the best quarterback. Anything less than that is subpar for this team, period.
But also think about it from the fact, not only do you have these 3 tough games, I mean, you're talking about 3 of the best defenses, most complete defenses in the league. One being, and Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury in a new offensive system. I know people don't think about this stuff.
This was a diabolical plan. Sign Kirk Cousins, get him injured, and draft Michael Penix so we can really move out from Kirk Cousins. That was the diabolical plan. If we play the 3 toughest defenses and a guy on a bum Achilles, guess what? He'll get hurt and we'll get to put Penix in there.
All right, well, Falcons fans, if you're tired of the pessimism, this is an opportunity. And though it can go horribly, horribly wrong, it can plane crash and burn. And, every single day, Raheem is going to go up to that podium and have to say, Kirk is our guy. And, inside the building, they could believe that, but it's not going to stop the outside noise. To both of your points, I completely agree. But it breeds opportunity. If they go out and beat some of these teams that everybody expects. Everybody expects the Chiefs to once again contend for a title. Everybody expects the Eagles to. Nobody is expecting Mike Tomlin to go under 500 all of the sudden with a better quarterback. So these are 3 playoff caliber teams. You beat 2 of them. You got some momentum now. You got some momentum going into the Saints week 4, first division game. Listen, it could go horribly, horribly wrong. There's no arguing that, but the opportunity is there.
I like how you put it, opportunity. By the way, if they do go 0-3, I'll be the first person in the press conference going, are you considering a change at quarterback? I just want you to know that. I absolutely be the first. I will cut off every main media member to ask that question first.
Well, this doesn't stop. This doesn't stop at the first 3 weeks. I mean,
here's the problem.
And then the Bucks after that.
Here's the unfavorable part of their schedule. They have 7 home games of their 10. I don't know why they have 10 home games, but they do.
We got screwed 2 years ago.
No, I'm sorry. They have 9 home games. Sorry, I'm reading it wrong. They have 7 of their 9 home games within the first 9 weeks of the season.
That's brutal.
That's not great. That's not great at all. Like that's not where you want it to be. And oh, by the way, their season will be decided weeks 4 through 10.
Isn't that not crazy?
Division games that early in the year sucks.
Yep.
Now, you could argue, if you want to flip it around here, Alex, because you're the positive one, that You're healthier at this point in the season, right? You might catch some teams that haven't hit their stride yet earlier in the year. Like the Chiefs started out bad last year, right? And then worked their way out of it. So you might be catching some good teams in bad spots early on as they're working out some of the kinks and things of that nature. So there is opportunity for them to do it. But I would tell you this, if after 10 weeks, when the Falcons, after 10 weeks of football, right? And the Falcons finished their last division game, I would absolutely take them being 5-5, but 5-0 in the division, 100%. Because winning your division is the most important thing. It is the best and easiest way to secure a playoff berth and get a home playoff game is winning a division. And so they have to go, 4-2 at worst in the division, I think. I think if they go 3-3 in the division, they might not win it.
Oh, yeah, I think that goes without saying. And having 5 of your 6 division games before your bye week is not great. The NFL is usually pretty good about putting division games at the end of the schedule. The Steelers have an unreal gauntlet at the end of their schedule, speaking of. But I think if you're the Falcons, I mean, this does suck because, you're looking at Derek Carr. He's got a new offensive coordinator. Baker Mayfield, he's got a new offensive coordinator. Obviously, we have an new offensive coordinator. So it sucks for us, but it's also the playing field isn't as uneven as it might seem because everybody's going to have a new system, at least the 3 at the top. All four in the division will have a new system offensively. So it's not necessarily, I think, as bad as it could have been had there been some continuity in New Orleans or Tampa.
Here's the upside. You only play 3 legitimate quarterbacks. Yeah. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott. That's it. Now, I mean, there are no Justin Herbert. Yes, I guess we'll consider him. I love Justin Herbert. I think he's the most talented quarterback in the league, but his team just never turns out to be very, very good. So even at that, you have 17 games, you play 4 legitimate quarterbacks, and that's it. So I don't know. I don't think you are facing high-level quarterback play week in and week out, which is a benefit to you. I don't do the whole let me try and figure out who wins and losses at this point in time. It's the stupidest exercise that fans and media people do. Stop predicting. I have no idea what.
All right, give us your guess.
I have no idea what Bo Nix is going to look like in week 11. I have no idea. All right, what Jalen Daniels is going to look like in week 17 if he's even going to be starting. So the idea that we're going to try to predict this stuff is so stupid. I don't know why people do it. I don't even know if TJ Watt is playing week 1 yet.
All right, well, I'll go back onto the optimistic side of this. And though it does start as a gauntlet, let's all, without guessing, the end of the schedule seems favorable in terms of you just want to call it, the last 4 games in terms of a Vegas win total perspective, those are pretty easy teams. And when you're talking about the Falcons, you said it. You win the division. That is the overwhelming expectation in and around Atlanta is the Falcons win the division. So we're talking about a playoff team. And when you talk about playoff teams, you mentioned it. The Chiefs, the Patriots, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were always the best at this, is playing your best football at the end of the season. And when you have bad teams, that certainly contributes to playing your best football at the end of the season. So yes, it does, the gauntlet at the beginning is really, really tough, especially it doesn't even end after the 3rd week, like Chase mentioned. It goes Saints, Bucks too. Those are 5 playoff caliber teams that you have to face right off the bat. But in that same breath, you get 4 bottom feeders, suppose we all kind of expect at the end, kind of like tune-up games before the postseason. That could be seen as good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at this thing objectively, you try to find, the ways that they could take advantage. I think Tampa Bay's taking a step back. I wouldn't trust Baker Mayfield. So I
couldn't agree more.
I would not. I think you hit lightning in a bottle with Baker, and he fleeced you for a bunch of money. Good for him. Yep. But I don't think they're going to be that good.
Dave Canales is a bigger deal than people are making it out to seem, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, again, but you have back-to-back tough games in New Orleans and then at Denver, one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. You have to go to U.S. Bank Stadium, maybe the loudest stadium in the NFL, where the Vikings play. I mean, that's a really tough stretch. Saints, you have the bye week smashed in between there. And yes, folks, okay, on Twitter last night, I said it was 5 consecutive road games because it says SoFi Stadium on the email the Falcons sent out to me. The Falcons PR said SoFi Stadium. That's what I was going off of. Forgive me, I made a mistake. I will go die in a hole now. Thank you.
I gotta.
Go ahead. Yeah. What?
What all right, so outside of the divisional games, because we love those matchups with the Saints, that's always the thing. Which one of these matchups, it can be home or road, are you most looking forward to? Obviously, you got Mahomes, you got the revenge game with Kirk Cousins, you got the Cowboys. Which one of those games, Eagles on Monday Night Football, which one of those games are you most looking forward to, intrigues you the most?
I mean, for me personally, and you guys should know this, but it's week one. I mean,
Arthur Smith, yeah.
And look, I don't know if you saw the little mini victory lap I took, but Arthur Smith coaching in Atlanta week one kind of makes me right when I said he would be coaching in Atlanta week one. I mean, I didn't say what team specifically. Actually, I did. I said the Falcons, but nonetheless, I mean, I got to tell you, there's a part of me that wants him to put up 30. There's a part of me that wants him to put up 30.
Well, he shouldn't have much of a problem. I mean, that defense, we talked about it all offseason. That defense is
part of me that knowing the person on this defense and him going, we got this. We got this. We're gonna run it up on these dudes. Again, I'm here for it because of the storylines and the drama. And I know people think I'm a jerk, and I guess I am, but I think for the most part, that game is going to excite the hell out of me. Imagine losing to Arthur Smith in week one.
Well, and that's what I think.
It's just a real possibility. We don't have to imagine it.
Yeah, like
they would lose their minds.
A lot of people look at the Steelers game, and it's one of those games that's kind of like, I think it'll probably be close to a coin flip, especially at home. It'll probably be a line well within three either way.
Yeah.
But that's one of those games that I think every year you look at, and like if you're a Falcons fan, you're like, all right, yeah, we can win that game. Like you mark it as a win, and then you think about the situation that it's Kirk Cousins' first game in a new system. You're playing a well-coached team in Mike Tomlin. You're playing one of the best defenses in the league. You're coming off a torn Achilles if you're Kirk Cousins. This is an Arthur Smith revenge game, and all those factors. And I'm thinking like, if I'm I guarantee you, I'm going to lay a fat wager on the Steelers this game, even as a Falcons fan, because of all those factors I just said.
That's an emotional hedge for you, though. It's good. It's smart.
I hate it. I hate everything about it, but it's not wrong. It's absolutely not wrong, because I do agree that a lot of Falcons fans are just kind of writing this off. And it's like, have you just not watched the Steelers for our entire lives? They're never a bad football team, literally ever. And they only got better this offseason with Arthur Smith replacing Matt Canada, who should have never gotten that job in the first place, and with Russell Wilson replacing Kenny Pickett. Like, they only got better, and we're just writing them off. Like, I could see TJ Watt making Caleb McGarry look absolutely foolish already.
100%. By the way, how many quarterbacks can you put on one field at the same time that this fan base all wanted here? Between Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, now Michael Penix. Like, any four of those guys could have been wearing the Falcons uniform for this game. Like, that's the crazy part. And they're all going to be on the field at the same time.
It's hilarious. That game's definitely in terms of storylines. I always like seeing Dallas coming to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, you never really get to see that. I've never seen Patrick Mahomes live. I did go to see him up in Arrowhead when they played the Bengals, but never against the Falcons.
The cool thing is that'll be a Sunday night game, so people should be in the Benz and
we better fill out opening week though, because that black and gold's going to be there.
Pittsburgh travels well.
We better have a damn crowd in there.
Right now, percentage of terrible towels you're going to see 30%, 40%,
40.
I was going to say closer to 50. I think you guys are crazy. I mean Atlanta's a transplant city. I went to that Steelers game a couple years ago, and I know it was way later in the season. It was overwhelmingly Steelers fans.
I was there too. It was overwhelmingly Steelers fans. I watched a guy in a Deion Sanders jersey get in a fight in the crowd. And I asked, I yelled about 7 rows above. I'm like, what are we fighting at? We're both 4 and 6. Like, we're terrible. What is there? How could you possibly waste your Sunday fighting in an NFL game?
We will not be hearing Wiz Khalifa's black and yellow during week one.
I'm going to go later in the season after the bye week. I believe it's the Chargers. I agree with the Justin Herbert thing. Justin Herbert's one of the most talented quarterbacks maybe ever.
And Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. Finally, maybe he gets some semblance of a team. Justin Herbert, that is. I'm excited. I've never seen Justin Herbert play, and I agree with Chase. I am going to try and go to games this year that I haven't seen. I'm going to go to opening weekend, but Chiefs and Chargers, at least right now, are on the bucket list.
That you could see rookie quarterback Jalen Daniels, rookie quarterback JJ McCarthy, rookie quarterback Bo Nix, and even possibly a rookie quarterback for the Raiders. Like, you could see
who even is playing quarterback for the Raiders.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. I mean, who knows?
That guy cooked me. I remember betting an under on one of his passing procs against the Chiefs, and he just he went like 15 for 15 in the first quarter.
That was the game. They beat the Chiefs that game.
I was like, what is going on? and
then essentially you get a rookie quarterback still in Bryce Young. You get to play him twice. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean they got opportunities, man. As bad as the schedule is to start with those 5 games, they could easily come out of that. If they can come out of that 2-3, you gotta like their chances to win this division.
2-3.
I think
we better be coming out of that 5-game stretch over 500. We have to be.
I would say this much: you got to go 1-2 in the first 3. The only thing you can't do is go 0-3.
Correct.
That's what you can't do. So you got to go 1. No matter how it shakes out, I think week 1 is obviously the easiest of the 3. But so you got to go 1-2 there, and then in your next 5 games,
you got to beat the Saints and Bucks at home.
4 division games. Yeah, you have to figure out a way in those first 4 division games in 5 weeks. You can't go worse than 2-2. You better be 3-1.
Oh yeah.
And if you're 3-1, then overall you're 4-3 with a Seattle game up in the air that makes you either 5-3 or 4-4. Right?
I haven't said this in terms of, but in far as my favorite one, and this is because I hate the city of Philadelphia, going up to the link on Monday Night Football, if they can somehow win, and if you check the dates of that game, that's right around the time of a pennant race when the Braves, if they could pull away in this division, that's the first thing I thought about when we got them week 2 is the Braves could be putting their foot down in the NL East around that time. And if we could somehow pull off a win against the cocky Eagles, and I can talk crap on Twitter for the next, at least until we lose to the Phillies in the NLDS.
By the way, it's interesting you brought that up. I just wanted to check the second half schedule. The Braves are actually home on Sunday, September 8th against Toronto. So no one's there for that. And then the Chiefs game is on Monday night, right? What's the date of it? Monday,
Sunday night. Sunday night.
Sunday night, the 22nd.
That sounds right. Yeah.
The Braves are in Miami, so there's no real conflicts schedule wise with the Braves as far as the pennant race is concerned.
Could get a Donald Trump convention though here in Atlanta. That seems to always come up at the most
worst times.
The inopportune times.
Yeah. That's always fun. Sign me up.
Yeah, to me, that Eagles matchup, because strictly, there is not a city that I loathe more than the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah,
so beating them, especially if we can beat them at home during that pennant race, it would give me double ammo to just fire shots at the entire fan base. And I love a good interaction with Philly fans because they like the banter. I appreciate the fan bases that appreciate the banter, and some of them take it a little too far, but that's just Twitter.
I will be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 22nd for that game.
Yes, for sure. Zinno, thanks so much for joining us. As always, you were fantastic.
You guys are the best. Thanks.